So Phillip Rivers did not exactly have a great day against the Cleveland Browns. It's another one of those moments where Phillip Rivers, when he's playing well, things do go well, but he just makes too many mistakes and he will throw some games away. And this is really the second time he's done that now, which is why I think a lot of people were questioning the move when it happened. I thought it had shown some promise early on this season, but this is just, for the Phillip Rivers haters, this is why you're haters, because of these moments, because of these games. And let's just get into what he did and just some of the questionable head-scratching decisions he made. Let's start off with the pick six. So just to set the stage, this is early in the third quarter. Cleveland is leading 22-10. So, Cleveland's up, but it's far from a blowout. And the way this is working is that Cleveland is running zone coverage, and for Indianapolis, they have a mesh concept right here, which is really good against man, not really great against zones. So kind of a good pre-snap situation for Cleveland. Also worth mentioning, this is a 3rd down and 4 right here. So, Indianapolis is down. They really want to be able to convert here, especially near midfield. What's going to happen is that once this play starts, because of the concept and because of the coverage, nothing's really that open the way Indianapolis had hoped. Now, Rivers looks over and he sees he has a player in the flat, but this is clearly not open. These are kind of plays that can work, but they're dangerous because it is so far across the field. All it takes is a defensive player to make 1 or 2 steps to jump in front of it. And this it's a risk that Rivers should not take right here, especially because even if it's a perfect throw, there's a very real chance it's still not going to be a first down because he's not past the first down marker yet. So, this is definitely a risk that Rivers should not make. However, Rivers is going to throw one there anyways and leads to a incredibly easy pick six. And that's just a head scratcher. And to me, that's a clear desperation play right there where he desperately wanted to try to make something happen on 3rd down and 4. But sometimes, even on 3rd down, you have to throw the ball away. Or, there's some other guys who maybe he could have thrown to as well. So there's that. But at the same time, if that was his only option, you got to throw the ball away. It's that simple because that was too dangerous of a throw and it resulted in a pick six. I also want to talk about the safety. I didn't think the safety was actually as much of his fault as maybe you might think, but it definitely was still kind of his fault. I'll just get into it. It's going to be a cover 3 zone that Cleveland is in, and this is good news for Indianapolis as they have a concept that can beat this type of coverage. It's going to be play action, and so play action, especially in this moment when it is a common thing to run the ball when you're at, the 4-yard line. A lot of times people will run the ball because you're probably not going to lose enough yards to get the safety, and you probably will gain some yards, which now means that, if you gain 5 yards, then when you throw the ball, even if you get sacked, you're not going to get a safety. So that's what a lot of teams like to do. So, Indianapolis, they're playing aggressive. They're going to run play action here, which, given the situation, I don't hate. I mean, at this point, you're down by 7 points in the 4th quarter. There's still 14 minutes left. But, it's okay to be a little bit aggressive here. But unfortunately for Indianapolis, once this play starts, 2 bad things are going to happen. First, if you look at Rivers, there's pressure right away, which is not what you want when you're standing in your own end zone. That's a very scary situation. On top of this, the player who he wants to hit is not really running. It's taking him a while to run this route. This route is going a very long time. So he is going to try to get to that little window where he can potentially get open. But at the same time, it's just taking him a minute to get there. It's a little bit of a more developing route. And Rivers is under pressure. Rivers knows he has to throw this ball away. So, and again, this is actually really well defended by Cleveland. Give Cleveland some credit, absolutely. But at the same time, I think that this is something that you can point to Indianapolis and say, why didn't you have a break glass in case of emergency guy here? You have an extra player who's blocking in the game. Why not have that player just sort of be closer to Rivers, be in the backfield, and his job will just be an eligible receiver that Rivers can throw at your feet in case nothing else is open, because you already have someone there. Be ready for that, but he's too far away where you can't really throw it away there. Rivers is going to try to throw it away to where the tight end is. He just doesn't get enough on it, and so they rule it that it's intentional grounding. You could have not called it that because I can see what he's trying to do. But at the end of the day, weirdly enough, they don't seem to judge intent when it comes to intentional grounding. I actually do think that Rivers might have even been trying to make that throw just in general. He just could not get anywhere near enough on it, and so it falls incomplete. And if we're being honest, he wasn't perfectly accurate. His arm strength and arm talent wasn't that great this game, and that's another thing. Like on this one, it's going to be zone coverage. There's just a little quick move. This isn't anything too fancy. You just have your receiver lined up closer to the sideline, run over the middle. The tight end who's closer to the middle runs towards the sideline. This is a good play against this type of coverage because Cleveland probably not going to be covering that little area closer to the sideline. As you see, no one's really supposed to cover there. So there can be a window here. However, when Rivers tries to make this throw, it's just going to be a wild one. It's not able to be complete, and that was part of it too, is Rivers missed some throws, and that can't happen as well, especially when you're making bad decisions. And speaking of bad decisions, in my opinion, he had a few. This was the worst one, which is going to be, so a couple things to break down here. This is going to be a cover 3 zone play, but there's an extra man in coverage, so it's a little bit of a modified zone coverage. It's an unusual one for Cleveland. And for Indianapolis, what they're doing is that they actually have a perfect concept to beat cover 3. This is called a sail concept, what you see on the top of the screen. So basically, you have 3 players who are currently in a bunch formation. One is going to run deep, and his job is to just stretch out the cornerback who's on that side of the field, get him further deep. You then have another Indianapolis player sort of run shallow, and typically that's going to cause the Cleveland player who's in charge of covering the flat on the top of the screen to also stay shallow. This way, your third player can sort of run over the middle. He can be sort of the Goldilocks of this situation where one player's too shallow, one player's too deep. That causes a big window where you can make that throw. That's the idea. What the other player on this play is doing is basically he's lined up on the bottom of the screen because you technically have to have someone lined up on each side of each tackle. That's pretty much his job here. This is not really where you'd want to look to throw the ball to. Maybe if something goes crazy right, that would be good. But, on this type of play, he's trying to get into the middle of the field in the eye of the storm area. But as you see, Cleveland has the extra man in coverage. They're taking that area away, so you really can't do that. And after the ball is snapped, look at what happens. So who is most open? On the top of the screen, it's not wide open, but you got something going here. This definitely is solid. Whereas on sort of the middle of the field, there is an opening, but there's an extra man in coverage right underneath. So this is not a throw that Rivers should make. And not only that, but there's another Cleveland player who's hanging over. So there's really no window for Rivers to try to make this throw over the middle. Meanwhile, the way this play is designed, he could maybe try to throw one towards the player on top of the screen with the sail concept. Because keep in mind, you can sort of throw out of bounds and just let your receiver try to make the catch and bring it in. And if not, then it's incomplete. So there's no risk in throwing to one guy, which is probably going to get you more yards, and there's a ton of risk throwing to the other guy, and Rivers just on the run makes the dumb decision. And maybe it's because he was sort of under pressure and he didn't have time to totally look around, which I get, but his first read should have been the sail concept, so it's just not a great play from Rivers. I think this is the concern with Rivers, and I was impressed with him through 4 weeks. This is a bad week from him. It's the problem where when things are going well, he can absolutely win you games, especially in the right situation, and he is in the right situation, but he absolutely will throw a couple games away, and for Indianapolis, you just hope he doesn't throw away that many. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.